Okay, as part of what I'm doing here, sharing my wins and my challenges, and looking consciously looking to find the celebration in everything. Um, that means that I'm vulnerably sharing what's going on in my life. But that doesn't mean that I have the right to share what's going on with the people who are part of my life. Um, like everybody deserves their privacy, and what I'm doing is it's bloody vulnerable. It's I'm setting myself up for a lot of people's opinions on what it is that I'm doing. But that said, um, I had something that started off as what we kind of say as a disturbance in the force. So basically, apart from just documenting what's going on for me, what I've been doing is that as part of the community that I spoke about, that I'm involved in, we are playing a game of life. And within that game, we set ourselves like challenges or quests, things to do on a daily basis that keep us in touch with who we want to be, not what we're doing. What we're doing becomes a byproduct of who we're being. So what I'm doing is a byproduct of who I'm choosing to be. And yesterday, I just felt disconnected from everything I had set out for myself to do, even though I was doing everything and ticking the boxes. And I just felt as if like what I was doing wasn't having the impact that I was expecting it to have. And in that moment, I actually realized that what I'm doing has a sense of expectation, which was for me like a bit of a red flag that was going off. Because if I'm doing something for myself, but I'm expecting a result, therefore I'm setting myself up for a fall. I'm setting myself up for everything I do to come out as a task and something that I need to do. And then it becomes more about doing instead of who I'm being. That was the first little red flag that went off for me yesterday. And then the fact that I just felt like what I was doing wasn't having the impact that I needed it to have or expected it to have. I then realized that my partner has her own struggles and her own obligations and her own focus, and she does the work on herself, and she's very mindful, and like together we are doing our best to just to be a bloody good team, to be the best team we can possibly be. But I realized that yesterday, when I sat with my feeling of, this isn't having the impact it's supposed to have, when I sat with that, I realized for myself that because my partner was having struggles, of her own, like, and in the head and all of that, we all do. I realized that I couldn't fully lean into what it is that I'm doing for me until she felt better, because I was feeling sadness and I was feeling empathy for her. And like anybody in a relationship, if you could just click your fingers and fix everything, you do that. But I stepped away from that because I respect her so much, because I know that she just has the ability to do what I'm doing, is just like take a step back, take that pause, and just go, question yourself, step out of yourself and look at your thoughts and your feelings. But in realizing that I was feeling that way, I was feeling that I couldn't be happy until she was happy. I couldn't really like dive into the game of life that I'm playing until her game of life was working for her. And in that, I was placing the responsibility of my happiness and the power of my experience, I was placing that outside of myself. So therefore, I was letting go of my personal responsibility for who I'm being in any given time or moment. And handing that responsibility, even though I wasn't aware of it, but handing that responsibility over to somebody else, because until they're super happy and like everything is just like solid and just working, until that's happening for them, it can't happen for me. And I was like, whoa, that's fucking bullshit, you know. And I was able to actually verbalize this and share it with my partner, and it was liberating. And I was able to find the celebration. The celebration was that feeling of not experiencing the impact that I expected to experience, even though it's only early days. But there's the challenge, there's the celebration. The celebration is in noticing the disturbance in the force, and then pausing, questioning it, and then being gifted with an answer, a realization and an understanding, which empowered me and empowered my partner. And together, you know, we can then jump right back into our own personal responsibilities of who we're being. And that has a knock-on effect. Then a happy life and a really happy relationship, and happy just within our own individual selves, is the byproduct of who we're choosing to be in any given moment. So there's my share for today. It was I'm still feeling the after effects of that realization yesterday, and it feels empowering, and it just feels bloody good. So yeah, it's up to me to keep this up, to keep the momentum, and to stay focused, and to stay responsible for me and what I'm experiencing and who I'm being. So there you go. Bye bye.